Manchester United 0, Man City 3. Steph, what's your takeaways from that game?
First of all, I have a disclaimer for this fan view, because I'm really emotional right now. Like, I'm emotional outside of this, outside of United, outside of the studio. So forgive me if, I say some things that
Nah, man, talk your stuff. Talk your stuff.
But yeah, no, I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed. I don't think that I was living off fallacy to say that we could potentially nick a win, because after all, it is a derby game and we were playing at Old Trafford. So it wasn't beyond the realms of possibility that we could somehow win. But I'm just really disappointed to walk away from that defeat for a multitude of reasons, team selection being one of them.
Yeah.
So,
who would you have liked to see come in? Because obviously there were some changes, obviously in the back line. We hear you actually wasn't actually in the studio at this point, but we hear that Reguilon isn't starting, and we hear that Varane definitely isn't starting, niggling injuries, and then we have to play obviously the pairing of Evans and Maguire, and then Lindelof at left back. So I'm guessing you would have wanted to obviously see Varane and Reguilon, but if they weren't that ready, would you have still played them?
I would have. Yeah. It's a derby.
Yeah.
Like, in my mind, I'm not saying that the longevity of my support for Manchester United constitutes how passionate I am about the importance of the derby, but it's a derby. I would have started Reguilon, I would have started Varane, and I would have seen how long they lasted.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, no, because you make a good point, and even me, I have to kind of check myself, because I remember saying during the game is that maybe this is a one-off game kind of thing. Maybe play them in other games, but to be fair, now that you've actually said that, you've made me kind of think that maybe we should have just played our best players in the best positions, and then played our fringe players against the weaker teams, because obviously, let's be honest, there's a lot of teams that are weaker than City in this league, most of them. But yeah, in terms of great performances, was there anybody that stood out for you?
My standout for me would have been Onana Onana, because that's his name.
Yeah. Again, I learned that today.
That's his name. You learn something new every day. I think that he has grown in confidence since that Copenhagen game and that penalty save. I was really pleased with most of what he did today. I don't necessarily think that any of the goals he could have stopped. I don't think that Onana was directly at fault for any of those goals, one of them being a penalty. Yeah. I think that was more on the defence, and actually more specifically on Lindelof, and then Evans giving free kicks away on the edge of the penalty area. Make that make sense. Yeah.
With that being said, look, United start the game quite bright. I think we started quite bright. At that point, are you expecting United to try and clinch a goal? Because one thing that's been really levied at our strikers this season is that they're not finishing chances. Creating chances isn't really a problem. It's what we're doing in the final third. Who needs to back up their ideas up top? Because we've seen Rashford play with Højlund quite for a little while now. Obviously, on the right side, Bruno's not traditionally part of that front three. What do you need, in terms of the attackers? What do you talk to me?
Finish your dinner, yeah? Otherwise, you're going to bed early. Finish your chances, otherwise you'll get benched. And actually, in the case of Højlund, he did get benched, but I would have liked to have seen Rashford get benched as well.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't want to stretch as far as to say I'm disappointed that Rashford didn't get benched, but I do think there needs to. Erik ten Hag needs to implement a structure or an idealism where you will be reprimanded. If you don't play well, you will be reprimanded and you will be benched. Yeah. If you don't finish your dinner, you're in bed by 7 p.m. No, but seriously, and that's kind of what frustrates me a lot. And I think that maybe, to those of you who are watching the stream or have, past streams of my comments about Rashford, it's almost as if it's got to the stage now where it's less about Rashford and more about Erik ten Hag's team selection. Yeah. And that really is what bothers me, because, we're not really finishing our chances. And actually, if you look at the statistics that are out there, we have improved in our chances created this season. We have improved on our crosses into the box, but we're not finishing it.
Yeah.
So in my mind, to all of those of you who think, Erik ten Hag out because of his team selection, it's not that. I feel like Erik ten Hag is implementing what he would like to do within the training sessions, but it's not getting translated in real live match scenarios because for some reason these players can't do shit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think, you know, Anthony was away for a while. He didn't really get a look in today. He comes on, I think, like with 5 or 10 minutes to go. Would you like to see him maybe change some players and freshen up that starting front line? Because, as I said, Rashford's played a while. Højlund has played a few games. Does he bring the likes of Martial or Garnacho in to start games?
Sorry, just to clarify.
Yeah, to start.
To start games, yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Again, going back to my first comments about how this is a derby game, this is really important to, I say fans like me, I think it's important to all fans. It's a derby game. Play your strongest 11. And to those of you who say, oh, Erik ten Hag doesn't know what his strongest 11 is, what I would revert to is look at these previous games during the Premier League season and also the Champions League and say who's been performing well. Who has been performing well when I've given them that chance, regardless of whether they've started or they've come on off the bench as a substitute? Who has given me what I've requested?
Yeah.
And there are certain players on that pitch who aren't doing that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. What does Ten Hag do now? Because 3 games on a bounce, but we got through those 3 games with literally the skin of our teeth. What does he have to do to turn this around? Because the form, let's be honest, has been practically shit all season. What does he need to do to turn it around?
I would start off with playing.
What was that evil? Is that evil grin? But
no, okay. I would start off with playing the players that you've signed. Play Mount. I know that Mount was injured.
Where does he play?
I would put Mount on the right. If that was me, I'd put Mount on the right and Bruno in the middle.
Okay.
And I would actually use Anthony as a sub. I would definitely be subbing him on during games. But I would do that. With regards to the left-hand side, Rashford, whole bench. Garnacho, come on, 100%. I think, and that's nothing against Rashford, but I'm just like, I'm sick and tired of saying the same thing
every week, innit?
Every week.
Yeah, and
it's nothing. It's sorry.
Yeah,
sorry
okay,
to
it's okay.
It's nothing against. I say it's nothing against Rashford. It's not directed towards Rashford. It's just that Erik ten Hag has tried everything with Rashford. He's tried mollycoddling him. He's tried supporting him. He's tried starting him. He's tried subbing him off early in the 60th minute, 80th minute. He's tried everything else. Just bench him. Just bench him. Yeah. And to be fair though, to give Erik ten Hag credit, or in his defence, this was a very counter-attacking game, so Rashford probably did need to start this particular game. But looking forward to the next matches that we have ahead, I would bench Rashford. Because you tried everything else, so...
Yeah, no, I understand that, and that's something that I've even sort of called for. But just for the last thing, can Erik ten Hag pick these players up? Because that is a derby, it is a big game. 3-0 defeat, could have been worse, I guess. How does he pick them up for the next game?
Well, I'm not the manager, so...
That's my line.
Yeah. I'm not the manager. I don't know. I can just sit here and complain. But yeah.
Yeah. Steph's not the manager.
I'm not the manager.